Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of My Dog Ate My Podcast. I'm your host, Emily, and every week I chat with somebody different about their dog. This week I'm chatting with Danielle, who is the president of the Georgia Doberman Rescue, about her 3-year-old Doberman, Nova. Do you have Nova with you? I heard you talking to Nova as you were moving your
Yeah,
laptop.
because she ran right out in front of my feet and was like, me first, through the doorway as I, not so gracefully tripped over her. Yeah, she's around. Vega's here, and I saw Bali a second ago, but now they're like, oh, you're on the call, which means we're going to go do all the shit we're not supposed to do when you're on a call.
Do they all have free roam in the house?
Not usually. It depends. So Nova, I've had her since a puppy, so she is generally well behaved. Bali is a crack addict, so she has crate time throughout the day to keep her from literally parkouring off the walls. And then Vega, surprisingly, she came from a hoarding, abuse, neglect situation. I don't know if you heard about the 80 Dobermans in Ohio that were stacked in crates, but
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal because it ended up being a reputable breeder in a sense. As a last minute thing, our rescue took in 4 of them, and so Vega's one of those dogs. But she's surprisingly not destructive and not a bad dog. She's been pretty easy. I'm like, Bali, could you learn from her, please? That would be great.
So Nova is 3, and you've had her since she was a puppy.
Yes.
So how did she come into the pack?
So I previously had a dog from her breeder, Kano. She used to come with me to the office at Amazon, actually, and would eat bananas and leave them around the office. It was disgusting. So she came from that breeder. She lived to be 14, which is ancient for a Doberman. So when I decided I wanted to eventually add another dog to the pack, I wanted a dog I could do sports with. So we don't get a lot of those in rescue. So I decided, all right, I'm going to go to the breeder and I'm going to go back to her. So I was on a waiting list for about 2-ish years, I think. And then she had a litter before Nova's, and the timing was just really bad because Kano was actually diagnosed with cancer. And so I was like, can't bring her in now. And then when the next litter came around, she told me, and Nova was one of the puppies.
Did you already have the name Nova picked out for her, or how did you land on that name?
Yeah, I have a list of names. And I cross them off as I go through. I sort of had known for about a couple months, I think, of the list of names that I had that was the one I was going to go with.
Do you remember what some of the other names were that you had written down as a potential Nova contender? Unless you want to keep those secret for future dogs.
Raven, I've always liked that for Dobermans because they're I usually go for the black and tan. Bali's red, which might be why she's a crack addict, but I usually go for the black and tans, and so I always kind of like that one. I really want a male eventually. I can't have any males now because my Shiba's a male and he's a jerk. As you know.
Yeah.
You know what that's like. And I want a male that I can name Anubis so that I can call him Newbie and Noob and all other sorts of stupid names, but they have that jackal head. So those are probably my next 2 when the time comes. So yeah.
I like that. So Nova, how similar or different is she in personality to Kano? Or are they related at all?
No, I did check because, of course, I'm like, are you related at all? I don't remember any overlapping lines, but they're similar in the sense that they're both super eager to please and incredibly sweet. Kano was a bit more stubborn and strong-willed and was like, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm just going to do it. And she was super brave. Nova's a chicken shit. Which some of it also might be her age because she's still maturing into the Doberman personality. She cracks me up because she's afraid of the cats. She'll run away if the cats kind of give her a hard time. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's out. She's not even going to try, even though she's 10 times their size. Kano's big thing was bananas, which is why she did so great at Amazon. I haven't tried bananas with Nova yet, so I'm kind of curious if they have the same snacking habits.
You don't want to create a monster if she really is into bananas, and then you're just never going to be able to not give her bananas.
Exactly. And I don't buy bananas that often, so then I'm going to have to buy bananas.
So who of your Dobermans, I guess, are the most kind of Doberman generic stereotype personality? Would you say you notice it more with Nova being from a breeder, or do you notice it more with the rescued dogs, or would you say there isn't even one generic Doberman stereotype personality?
I think there's the generic stereotype for people that have owned them and then the generic stereotype for people who haven't, right? And I would say the generic stereotype for people that haven't, I think Vega actually fits more She's a little, you know, she came from, like I said, abuse, neglect, so she's a little standoffish, but she's also the really defensive, like, I will rip your arm off if you touch my mom sort of personality. Nova is more in line with that, like, really needy, really clingy, attached to you at all times, which is like the stereotype that Doberman owners tend to know. We'll call them Velcro dogs because there is no alone time. You never get to go to the bathroom alone again. I get stared at in the shower the entire time, and that's Nova. And Vega's actually kind of like that too. I shouldn't say because she's up my butt all the time. But she's the one who's more of like if I was to take her out somewhere, that she would be the one that people would probably cross the street for.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably similar to like me and the Great Danes that people see them and they go, "Oh, I don't want to be walking towards that dog,
Right,
so
just
I'm
in
gonna go
case.
as far away as I can." And of course, the Danes are like, "Oh, can we just play like this?
Right.
You look like fun. I want to play with you."
Exactly. Exactly. And as I said their names, by the way, Vega and Nova, are both right here now.
Like, yes, what can I do for you?
I know. They're like, we heard our names, and we heard the word clingy, so we're here.
Do they ever get into things in the house?
Not Nova, because she is way too afraid to upset me. She's like, I would never do anything that I wasn't supposed to do. The worst thing she'll do is act like she can't hear me for like 2 seconds. And then
Hmm.
I can't even do this for that long. I love you too much. Vega is still learning house manners. So she has kind of like gotten a little curious about the trash here and there, or like, what's that thing under the couch that I'm going to go grab? But even her, she's not, she doesn't try to get into stuff or she's not destructive. Once you give her a real firm no, she's like, ah, that's a rule. Okay, I won't break that rule. Nice thing about Dobermans, actually, they listen most of the time.
It's a stark contrast to the couple people I've talked to and friends that I have with doodles. It's
Yes,
like, okay, how long is the list of things that your doodles have eaten? Let's see, how much time do you have?
right. Yeah, they're not like I find they have a really rough puppy stage because they're everything in their mouth all the time. And then once they hit sort of what I call the brain maturity part, where they're about 2 or 3, they kind of go, I don't really care about that anymore. Unless you did no work with them at all and let them be destructive and never told them no, then yeah, they'll continue to do it. But
Mhm.
I'm pretty strict on that. That and like don't chase the cats are my 2 rules. So they learn that really, really young.
Does Nova have to stay like stimulated and enriched through doing sports? Like, does she get antsy if she's not doing sports or things like that, or how does she stay
Yeah.
busy?
She's a super active dog. I mean, all Dobermans are. That's why Bali like parkours around my house. I don't think I could do enough for her. But Nova, yeah, she loves sports, and even I can only do fast cat so often. It only comes to town every like once a month or so. But I also do like I play fetch with her. I say fetch as if she brings the ball back to me, but she chases the ball and then runs back to me with no ball, and then I throw another ball, and then I just have a pile of balls at the end of the yard. And I'll do things like play with a flirt pole and other toys to keep her stimulated. She does best with mental stimulation to tire her out. So I do a lot of training. So she knows all sorts of stupid tricks because that's the easiest way for me to get her to take a nap.
What are some of the more like uncommon tricks that she knows?
She knows spin to the right. She's learning it to the left. She sits pretty where she'll like sit up with her paws up. She knows guard, which means stand between my legs and like face out and like kind of check out what's going on. What you don't see is the whole time her tail is like like you're not really a very good guard dog. What else do you know? What else have I taught you? She kind of is learning play dead. She's afraid of the finger gun. When I go bang,
Yeah.
she's like, oh my God. So she's not very good at it yet. The other stuff is like the standard, like sit, lay down, stay. She's really good at stay. She's very good at like kenneling up and all that stuff. She finally recently learned, it took way too long for her to learn this, to like jump into the crate that I have in the car by herself without me having to pick up all 60 pounds of her and lift her into the crate. So that was a really big achievement. So yeah, those are some of the most of the ones. I'm like, now I can't even think of all. You asked me the question. Now I can't think of any of her damn tricks.
Yeah, I mean, most of mine only know sit, kind of stay. Stay comes and goes. And then I try to work on their recall, but again, it kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, Nova has really good recall because she, like I said, she doesn't want to disappoint. She also doesn't
Mhm.
really want to be more than like 10 feet away from me ever. So if I can like whisper her name in the yard and she'll be like, Mom.
Oh,
The other ones, they have no names when they're outside.
and I'm guessing you have a fenced yard,
I
or
do.
Okay.
I don't think I could survive without a fenced yard with these guys. It would drive me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we talked about this when we were at lunch. How does the Shiba get along with everybody?
Much like everything else in his life, he tolerates them.
Mhm.
When he was younger, like really, really young, I had two other Dobermans who, of course, since have passed away, but he loved them. And I have videos of him playing with them. And then he turned 18 months and he was just like, I hate everybody. It's perpetual teenager for like the rest of his life. And so he'll get moments where he wants to play with them. And then he will, but it's like on his terms for 30 seconds. And after that 30 seconds, you better not come near me. It's kind of hilarious. But he does fine. I mean, he just kind of stays on the other side of the house from wherever they are and generally ignores them. And if they get too close, he screams and it's all good.
Yeah. And who does Nova get along with the most?
Oh God, it's both Bali and Vega, but at night she wants to sleep with Bali because Vega will not let her. But during the day she wants to play with Vega. But she'll play with Bali too. Although Bali has like I can tell she's got like third wheel syndrome right now where she's like she always wants to play with Vega. So I have to put Vega inside sometimes. The two of them can run around. Bali is like she's just kind of a whiny little brat. Nova just loves everybody all the time and doesn't understand why not everybody loves her all the time.
And does Nova do well when you bring fosters in or when you have like temporary dogs?
She is like the welcoming committee. She's so excited when everybody's there. And I have to actually, she has to have a slow introduction because she just is so excited that she can't understand why a dog might be nervous to meet her. And
Oh,
she's all energy. So I always have to do like a couple days of decompress time where the foster is just separated in my laundry room. I take them out through the garage. And then when I introduce them to Nova, it's very short bursts over a
yeah.
period of time to kind of get a read. And I usually keep her on the leash so that she can't just go wild. But then usually about a week later, they realize that she's just everybody's best friend. So
Yeah.
good.
She sounds like she'd be really good, or I imagine she's really good for like temperament tests too.
Yeah.
If you're trying to like gauge, okay, is this dog friendly? It's like so you give them Nova and see how they're doing.
She was my good test for Vega because like we knew Vega had lived with other dogs, but we didn't really know how much she had interacted with them because they were crates just stacked on top of each other, right? So that can feel very antagonistic, I guess you could say. Like they're in your space whether you want them there or not. So I wasn't sure how she was going to do. And Nova was like the best barometer because she's just like, I love you. And Vega's like, I don't know. But after a couple times of just letting Nova get over it, then they became best friends. And now they just roll around in the grass outside and have the best day ever every day.
Do you have any good nicknames for Nova, or what are some of Nova's nicknames?
Nova, Povers, Pova. I don't know. I have no idea where those came from. Nova Pova, Nova Poli, Roly Poly, Idiot. Noves, I'll call her Noves sometime. Those are kind of the main ones. And like, of course, if she's doing something wrong, I'm like, that bitch Nova. So
Does she have like a legal name, or does she have like an AKC registered name?
she does. It's so her breeder is Pamelot. They're down here in Georgia in Loganville. So it's Pamelot's Unforgettable, which is a really good name for her because everybody that meets her is like, yeah, that dog.
Yeah, that dog.
Can't forget that one. She's a nut.
Oh. And what do you imagine like her inner voice sounds like if she had a human voice?
I imagine what goes on in her head is like that hamster song where it's just like do 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 all the
Yeah.
time. So like I imagine her voice to be just kind of like a high pitched, goofy voice. Like she's almost like a valley girl sometimes because there's moments where I'm like, is there brains in there anywhere? Like, is it just a smile in your head? She's just happy all the time.
I make that joke about Mocha. Like sometimes, like, Mocha, is your one brain cell working really hard right now? Or her single brain cell is focused on doing one thing and she can't do anything else. And like, I could see the smoke coming out of your ears.
Right. I say that about Oreo, my husband's cat. I'm like, oh, I can hear the wind blowing through her ears. And he's
Oh.
like, she just stares vacantly off into space. I'm like, oh, it's gone.
We're gonna have to do probably other episodes so we could focus on each of the dogs because I think it'd be great to like talk more about like the Shiba and like some of the other Dobermans. And yeah, I think it's it's great.
And whatever random dog is in my house at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be sort of like a rotating, like regular thing where we'll just say, okay, what what dogs does Danielle have, and we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, because Karma's here too. And then I've got Annie, who is blind and deaf and hobbling around, somehow still alive to this day. At least like Annie's old and I forget about her, and Jiro keeps to himself. It's all the other ones that are
Mhm.
So they keep me on my toes.
I'm trying to think if I had any like last questions about Nova. Has she had any like weird like vet visits or anything like that in her 3 years of living?
Not yet. I mean, there was one occasion where I had gone up to New York and I took her with me. And then because I had to fly back, my family member took her back with her and didn't tell me she was going to take her to doggy daycare, which I would have told her absolutely not to do.
Mhm.
And she ended up getting pneumonia from it. So that was like a whole thing. But she was fine. I mean, obviously, and didn't, she's no different. And her health is fine. But so far, nothing vet wise. She did fail her Doberman test, though. So that's fun.
What does that mean?
So, for the Doberman breed, there's something called the working aptitude evaluation. They also do it for other breeds called the temperament test, which they kind of ripped off from the Doberman. Same stations that they do of like you have to meet a friendly stranger, and then they have to meet the dog, and there's a gunshot and all the things. She did really great until she got to the like they opened an umbrella about 6 feet away, and she lost her shit and was like she did not recover the entire time. She was like, "Get me out of here." So they were like, we're gonna have to try that again. Some of it that was maturity, and I knew I was like, she's really kind of too young for this still, but I wanted her to get exposure to it, and they don't come all that often. So I was like, it's here, get her exposure. Let's see how she does and what I have to work on with her. So umbrellas, yes, I'm gonna have to work on umbrellas.
Has she retaken it yet?
No, not yet. That was only last winter, I think, and so they probably won't do it again until next winter. So I've got like a year to get her to be okay with umbrellas.
Just repeatedly open umbrellas and yeah.
Yeah, I was told by some people they're like, take a closed umbrella, put peanut butter on the end of it, like let them lick it, like slowly open it so they don't like. So yeah, we're just gonna do some umbrella work. Gunshot, she did not care about. She's like, whatever, you can shoot off a machine gun. I don't care.
Oh my god. Well, I will let you go. Is there a way to see Nova before?
Oh, you're gonna probably get all the Dobermans because I called her. Come here, come up here. Can you come up? Come up here. I'm gonna let you do it. Yeah, no, all the way up. Come on. There you are. Oh,
Oh, hi Nova. Oh my gosh, she is so excited.
I know. She's like, and then okay, I let you do it once, and now you're never gonna stop, and that was a mistake.
Well, thank you. Let me stop recording. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget that if you live in the area, you can check out the Georgia Doberman Rescue in case you're interested in rescuing a Doberman. Make sure that you subscribe to My Dog Ate My Podcast anywhere you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks, and see you next week.